Local 4 News begins right now with a breaking news alert.
Convoys of Detroit police officers racing down the street, some trying to get their brother in blue to the hospital, others hurrying to the scene where he and another officer were shot.
So this suspect, if he's watching, you know who you are. We're going to find you. Do yourself a favor, and turn yourself in.
And in fact, it appears they have found him as we come to you tonight with Local 4 News at 11. This all-out manhunt for the shooter who wounded 2 police officers at the top of the news.
In the past few hours, police officers have been intensely combing West Side neighborhoods for that suspect, 60-year-old Raymond Durham, and we have just learned he has been taken into custody. We have every angle covered for you tonight.
Jason Colthorpe live at the hospital. We'll have updates on the officers in a moment. Let's start with Mara McDonald with more on this manhunt, which apparently has found its man. Mara?
Devin, I want to show you something. Take a walk with me. Sorry, we're on Michigan Avenue and it's a mess out here. Can you see all the flashing lights down there? That is where they just arrested Raymond Durham. Maybe 4 blocks away, we're talking maybe Michigan and West Grand Boulevard area. At Michigan and Vinewood, you can see the police cars are starting to come this way. It is turning into a caravan of officers at this point. But we have been told that Raymond Durham has been taken into custody just moments ago here at Michigan and Vinewood, which means that he has been in this area as police expected all night. Stand by. Here we go. One of these cars has him in there. They're hauling out of here right now. Let me take you through here. Jake, can you walk with me a little bit? Okay, so you see the police cars flying through here. Let's get into something that isn't a pothole here. Okay, this is Michigan Avenue where we're at right now. It has been a parking lot all night. Police have had the thing blocked off since about 8:45. It was a critical part of their perimeter. Do you see the big blue command unit there? Police have set up their mobile command post there. It means that the suspect was all of maybe 5 blocks away from them, at least for the majority of the evening. What Jake is showing you right now is 96. They've had that shut down, or at least access to 96 shut down for most of the night. Jake, can we show them Tillman? Okay. You see the street right here, where all these police officers are that are still cordoned off. About 2 blocks in is where this shooting went down. You had 2 Detroit police officers working the area. It is a known narcotics area. These police officers approached the suspect, started talking to him. What's going on out here? What are you doing out here? He presented them his ID. And then, police say, he pulled out a gun and started firing. Let's listen to Detroit Police Chief James Craig.
Suspect then reached in his pocket, pulled out a gun, firing shots at both officers, striking both officers. The officers did return fire. It is unknown at this point whether or not their shots took effect.
Back here live, it is unclear whether Durham has been hit, but we know that he has been apprehended. The picture that police were using of him was actually the picture on the ID that he gave police officers. Police have been out here, and not just the Detroit Police Department, but multiple agencies have been out here. I'd say they've had about a 1 square mile perimeter. They moved it down from 2 square miles to 1 square mile, and they flushed him out, got him maybe 5 blocks going that way. They've had SWAT out here, Violent Crimes Task Force is out here, and they just got him. My colleague Jason Colthorpe has been live at Detroit Receiving Hospital all night tonight. He's got the latest on the officers. Jace, what can you tell us?
Well, first, Marla, let me back up and confirm that the suspect has been shot and he is on his way. Durham is to Detroit Receiving Hospital right now, and you can see a lot of officers behind me gathering near the door. They've been here all night, numerous officers rushing to Detroit Receiving once word got out that these 2 officers were shot, trying to get word on their condition. And first and foremost, let's cover that. They are critical, but they are expected to be okay. One is a 20-year veteran of the force, the other a 4-year veteran of the force. And listen to Chief James Craig one more time talk about how close this was to being a fatal shooting tonight.
One of our officers was shot in the ankle, non-fatal. But he was also shot twice in the upper torso, but he's wearing a protective body armor. We believe that saved his life. Second officer, however, was shot in the neck. We are not sure the extent of the injuries, but he's being treated. The early diagnosis is that he's going to be okay. We're just not certain.
All right, guys, as we come back here live, let's get a live update now from Chief James Craig, who is joining us with an update on the situation.
Well, I can tell you right now, we do have a suspect in custody. Just want to commend the great work of our Detroit police officers, our TRUE unit, but the collaborative effort. You know, we had MSP, just a real collaborative effort, really looking for this suspect who was armed and dangerous. He did sustain a gunshot wound to one of his legs. He has been transported, not to this hospital, but to another local hospital where he will be treated for his injuries. So our investigation continues.
Chief, was he shot in the first encounter or when he was taken into custody?
No, the first encounter. In fact, we are very certain that it happened during the first encounter based on the evidence that we have. During the second encounter, again, the suspect was suffering from a gunshot wound. He was taken into custody without incident.
Did the officers find him, sir, or were they notified by the public?
They found him.
What can you say about these officers who were able to get around?
You know, I got to tell you, I've worked in a couple of police departments, the Detroit Police Department, some of the finest officers in America. You know, we talk about American heroes. They were relentless. They never gave up. They were committed to the mission. And we got the suspect.
Chief, any updates on your officers? I know earlier you said that you're cautiously optimistic.
I'm always cautious. Until you walk out of this place, I'm cautiously optimistic. And so at this point, they're being treated. Their families are with them. And so we just hope that they'll be walking out of here very soon.
Have they recovered his weapon?
By the way, they did recover a weapon during the arrest. So a weapon was recovered.
You know, I'm assuming, Chief, that since they recovered that weapon, that will be used to figure out if he had any connection whatsoever to the Colin Rose shooting.
We are not ruling anything out. Absolutely. We're looking at everything.
All right, guys, there you just got a quick little update from Chief James Craig. And you heard him mention the Officer Rose connection. That's a possible connection because this scene was about a mile away from where Officer Rose was shot and killed. And these officers were on that scene because of an uptick in investigations in that area. Now, they haven't ruled anything out. We talked to Chief Craig about that earlier. We're not so sure about that. But first, again, you heard these officers critical, expected to be okay. The chief is cautiously optimistic. The suspect, Durham, has been shot in the leg. He's been taken to another hospital. Let's get out to Tim Pamplin with the night cam where this latest arrest was made. Tim?
Yeah, Jason, this is Michigan and Vinewood. If you look down there on the night cam, you'll see the scene, the command post where the shooting occurred, the city in the background. 6 blocks down here on Michigan Avenue. So walk over here, you'll see police officers. This is where the apprehension just took place. They took him into custody outside that black vehicle there. Officers have just taken him from the scene here, taken him to the hospital. As we look around here, you'll see these tire marks along the road, along Michigan Avenue, leading me to believe that for some reason this person may have been in that vehicle. Officers said he was in a car. Now, I don't know if it was this black one, but one witness who just left the scene here said that there was about 100 police cars in this area all evening since that shooting, and finally they got their man, and he's now in custody in the hospital. And so that's the scene right now. The manhunt has ended. Back to you guys in the studio.
That is some very, very good news. Thank you very much, Tim.
Took just about 2.5 hours or so for them to track him down. If you're just joining us, we get you up to speed here on the breaking news that we've been following tonight. Detroit police say that the man who shot and injured 2 police officers is, as Tim just showed us, in custody. 60-year-old Raymond Durham was arrested near Michigan and Vinewood.
Police say the officers approached him near a narcotics location near Tillman and Ash, and when they were looking at his ID, he pulled a gun and fired. One officer was shot in the ankle and upper torso. The other was shot in the neck.
Both of them are going to expected to survive this. Durham was also shot, though, during that initial encounter, shot in the leg, according to the chief, on his way to the hospital right now. We do not yet have the names of these two officers. Earlier tonight, the chief told us they had to wait until families were notified, but as we just heard him say, their families are now with them, so we would expect we will learn the identity of these officers here very soon.
But officers with a 20-year seniority and 4-year seniority have been protecting our streets, that is for sure. We will continue to follow the developments on this breaking story and bring you the very latest on air, online, and of course the very first thing on Local 4 News today, starting at 4:30.
A lot more to come, but we continue to follow breaking news from Detroit's west side. 60-year-old Raymond Durham, the man suspected of shooting 2 Detroit police officers, has been arrested right now, heading to the hospital. He was shot by those officers during that initial encounter, but then he was arrested about 3 hours later on Michigan and Vinewood. We're told without incident, but he was suffering from a gunshot wound to the leg.
We remain on the scene tonight, and we will continue to bring you updates on this breaking news situation as more information comes into our newsroom. This is breaking as we are speaking. Officers are now searching desperately for that gunman. What we can tell you is that individual was seen. This is a very brief description of what we have. It is a young African-American male wearing tan pants and a tan jacket. He was seen last running away from that area. Again, Tillman and Ash. So if you live in that area, lock your doors. Make sure the windows are shut. We do not know where this gunman has run off to. I can tell you that they are just arriving. You see right there, police officers putting on their bulletproof vests. We've got numerous agencies now starting to respond to this shooting. Again, 2 Detroit police officers shot. We have heard that they've been transported to Detroit receiving. You see Michigan State Police there on the scene. As we said, this happened about 20 minutes ago. I was in the newsroom and we heard this go across on the scanner, and you heard officers, breathing heavily, saying, listen, we've got a gunman. We've got 2 people shot. Please respond quickly. And in a matter of moments, all of these officers descended onto this area. Obviously, they are very, very concerned about the well-being of those 2 officers and exactly where they were shot. We don't have that information. They were rushed to Detroit receiving. Now the question is, where is the gunman? You can see all of those squad cars lined up along the service drive there. We're hearing that's I-96 right to the right of that camera shot there. And now here comes the rifles and the guns. We are in a desperate search to make sure to find out where this individual was. Again, if you're just tuning in, this is what we know. It happened about 20 minutes ago. Gunshots rang out on this west side community. We're looking live at the intersection of Tillman and Ash. Don't necessarily know if this happened to be a traffic stop. Don't necessarily know why these Detroit police officers were interacting with this individual, but what we can tell you is about 20 minutes ago, gunshots were heard and 2 officers were shot. Quickly, they were transported. I was talking with some sources. They said they were brought to Detroit receiving. Do not know their condition. Now, in the meantime, they are regrouping there in the middle of the street, trying to fan out throughout the neighborhood to find out exactly where this individual ran off to. He was last seen on foot wearing tan pants and a tan jacket. We've got more officers arriving now here on the service drive. We are trying to gather as much information as we can. But again, if you are living in that neighborhood, lock your doors, close your windows, and obviously be on alert. We're looking for an individual who's running for cover. And unfortunately, in situations like this, it has been known where they try to either carjack someone to get out of the area. They have been known to break into homes, and I hate to say take hostages. I'm not saying that this is what has occurred, but I am saying that for people who live in this area, please be very, very careful. Keep those doors locked. And if anyone has seen any suspicious activity in the area of Tillman and Ash, any individual running with these, that's all we can say is, tan pants and a tan jacket. We need that information. You can call Detroit Police immediately. What we do know is now, gosh, I'd say there's more than 20 squad cars that have arrived on the scene, and they continue to arrive. And as we know, whenever a police officer is shot, everyone responds very quickly. We've got Michigan State Police over there. We have marked cars and we have unmarked cars trying to fan out. The matter of moments after a shooting like this are so vital, obviously, because they need to lock down this community. That's the Ash Street right there. So we're talking Tillman and Ashton. Look up there on the screen. We've got it's most likely the Michigan State Police chopper, because that's the one that typically works at night on this shift in terms of helping Detroit police. And I can tell you, I've been up in that chopper before, and when that spotlight shines down, they can see a lot with their infrared camera. So what they're looking for from up above is someone hiding, someone going from 1 yard to another. They can really zero in on if somebody perhaps is, in an unlit area, in an area hiding behind a shed or behind a garage. They can see that from up in the air. Now it's the officer's job on the ground to find out exactly where this gunman ran off to. And we've got everyone trying to fan out there. Again, we're going to just give you a repeat in case you happen to tune in. This is breaking news into the Local 4 newsroom. I'd say approximately about 26 minutes ago, gunshots rang out on the intersection of Tillman and Ash. We heard it cross the scanner. And now we see that car right there with the two doors open. And again, I'm just surmising here, but you would lead you to believe that somehow this is related to some type of traffic stop, because most likely if that car right there that we can see in the distance with the car open and the doors open, perhaps that gunman was in that vehicle. Some type of scenario happened where he was interacting with police and then the gunshots rang out. We don't know the condition of these police officers. I can tell you that everyone is very concerned. This brings back memories of when Wayne State University police officer Sergeant Colin Rose was shot on November 22nd, as we reported on that Tuesday night of Thanksgiving. And everyone responded so very quickly. And as we said, it is the matter of minutes now that we need to try to find out who is responsible for this shooting. We've got Detroit police on the service drive there, and to give you some bearing, right there, that's I-96 right there. So you see the heavy traffic that's moving there, and you can see the, so that's the bridge to Canada, so you kind of know you're kind of close to that southwest area of the city. We're labeling it the west side. And it's Tillman and Ash is where this is going down right now. So we've got squad cars on the service drive. Then a couple blocks in, it looks like we've got a staging area where we have Michigan State Police along with Detroit Police. We have officers in uniform. We have unmarked squad cars, and we see a group walking there, but I don't see, it's hard to see with the light. It just looks like that is a group of police officers. We're not hearing of any arrests right now. But what we're looking for is a brief description. We have African-American male. We don't have an age, but we do have, they were last seen running from the area of Tillman and Ash, wearing tan pants and a tan jacket. We don't know exactly in terms of what exact area. And as you see, there we go. We've got the police, Detroit police, and they are walking away. It looked like they were meeting, so perhaps they were getting some type of update on what to do next. And typically in a situation like this, different units are assigned to different streets and different homes, and that's when they start going yard to yard to yard, knocking on doors, asking to see if anyone has seen anything, heard anything, and it won't surprise me if we don't see the canines out yet, or if they have not been dispatched, they will be. And what they will be looking for, obviously, is the scent of this gunman to find out exactly where they took off to in the dark of night. It is 8:50 right now, so we don't have a whole lot of activity in terms of a lot of people coming home from work. The streets aren't very busy right now with traffic, which will help them in their search for this gunman. So what they're looking now for is they're going to be listening to the radio too. As we said, many times in situations like this, someone will take off and run. They've got a couple of options. They're either going to, unfortunately, carjack someone and try to get out of the area. So they're listening for reports of anyone who perhaps have been carjacked. They're also listening for reports of stolen vehicles. Many times they'll just try to break into a car and get out, or they will try to get into a home. We do have up above Michigan State Police a chopper, and they're surrounding the area, going up above. There we see it right there in the sky. And they try to circle and narrow down, and it's amazing. I've been up there in that chopper, and they can see so much, and it is a wide area. And even if you feel like you're hiding and it's dark, the spotlight does not have to be on you. You can be in the dark, but because they have these very high-tech infrared cameras, they can see you while you're hiding and you have no idea that they see you. I'll tell you another time too, sometimes they'll put the spotlight somewhere else and someone thinks that they're going